Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. It is Tuesday, a little bit after 12:30. I'm here to do another video to talk to you guys and to see how you guys are doing. I hope these messages are helping you guys, giving you some kind of relief from stress, depression, pain, grief, etc. Take what resonates with you. I use for the newcomers here, what I do is talk about the experiences I had of grief, pain, and loss, and how I got through a lot of it because it's not easy. So let's jump into this topic of discussion today, and the title is self preservation. We've talked about a lot of different things here. I talked about being a 9/11 survivor and some prior videos. And wow. And just going through so much, guys, that one person goes through that is like almost unbelievable. But like I said, without God, Jesus, or prayers, I can never get through any of this. So, with that being said, um, we're going to get into this topic of discussion about self preservation. I'm going to talk about some ways, that with any of you who is going through any type of traumatic situations, pain, grief, we're going to talk about for a moment, some of the ways I've gotten through it. So, healing requires patience. Be patient with yourself. Don't allow, just because you don't see the results right away, don't allow that to stop you. Be patient with yourself and one day at a time. Perseverance, just keep going. Even though you may not see results right away, keep going because never give up on yourself. You are worth it. Keep going no matter what it looks like. What I did with the keep going situation, I stayed in prayer as I do today. Prayer, meditation with God, because He's the source. And without Him, I was never able to get through this. And I just keep going. I talk about the metaphor I use about the noise around you. Tune that stuff out, because it's a distraction so that you give up on yourself. And if you give up on yourself, then what do you have left, guys? What I do, I learn very well how to tune out noise to the point where it's faint and I don't even hear it anymore because I refuse to allow anyone to stop my healing and my growth. If I have to set boundaries and people don't like the boundaries, then cut off, block, and delete. That is what I do because, nothing is going to stop me on this healing journey. And this is why, as we stay and get on this journey, then I go step by step. Self preservation is so important. When you decide that you're going to heal your pain and you're serious about it, grief, to heal your pain and grief, it is important to remember that the healing work requires that you engage in self preservation. And some of you may be asking, what's that? What's self preservation? What does this mean? Um, Self preservation is when you're not going to allow your mental and physical health to be affected by any form of toxicity. Anything that you feel like is going to cause harm or disarray to you to stop you on this healing journey. For me, it means protecting my peace because as I heal, grow, and evolve, I start to self care, self love, and then experience that inner peace that I was talking about. Nothing is going to interfere with that. To me, it means protecting my peace at all costs, no matter what it is. If I have to cut people off, no matter who they are, what they are, etc. If it's going to affect my mental and physical health, especially my peace, then cut off, block, and delete. Setting boundaries is what I do first. and I explain why those boundaries are being set, you know, and I do as much as I can to minimize the toxicity in my life. We can't get rid of it, it's all around us, guys, but we can minimize it in our personal space. And I don't play about that, because I have the first half of my life been allowing people to do whatever, whenever, and that's over with. And when we talk about toxicity, it's a lot of it today. I was at the gym earlier today, and you know how they have all those TVs around. All that was on was toxicity, the news, and right now things look dark, and people around me, even at work, we're talking about the things that's taking place. But me, my source is God. you know if I'm in an upright, and especially, guys, let me tell you something. When you make vows to God, um I make vows that I can keep. I'm not going to do a vow that I know I can't keep, because I don't play with God. And when I keep those vows and I'm in an upright, I'm not out here, trying to take from somebody, trying to hurt them, trying to bring hell to their life. I'm in an upright, healing, and try to help others as I help myself. God honors those vows. And anybody trying to stop anyone on this path who made vows to God, that's dangerous, very dangerous, because a person has something to fulfill. And now now the people who don't like it, or whatever the case, and they're trying to bring toxicity and all types of hell, I transmute that energy through prayer, meditation, and I will talk about that in some other later videos, and how God takes that, because those are burdens that are not mine, and I'm not carrying, excuse me, guys, I'm not carrying anyone's burdens. Even my own, I lift them up to God. My focus is healing, self-care, self-love, because if you don't heal your physical and mental health, you can't take care of yourself or anything else around you. And that's a fact. And if you can't love yourself, not be in love with yourself, but love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to give love to you? And I'm not talking about fake love and fake this and that. I'm talking about real love. I'm talking about real love. Um, you know, and then people, the right folks will come into your life. Um, And you know how sometimes you set boundaries and people, girl, sit down, shut up kind of attitude. What I do is reiterate those boundaries. I'm setting boundaries for a reason, A, B, C, D, and E. And if a person disrespects that, they get immediately cut off, block, and delete. And I don't have no conversation. I don't have any words or conversation for them at that point. I don't play about my peace. I don't play about my mental health and my healing. That is a priority, and my relationship with God. I don't play about those things. And, some people may think it's cold as ice, but, for the first half of my life, I allowed a lot of things that I shouldn't have allowed. But I had to heal and grow and evolve to understand why I allowed those things. And once I understood, then I changed the course, guys. And one of the ways I did that is by understanding, by doing a pro and con list that my therapist had me to do early on within our relationship of therapy. Um, and the cons were outweighing the pros. People were doing any and everything. And then, it was like a question of, why are you allowing this? And one of the reasons why, guys, is because my self esteem was in the gutter. I was putting everybody else and everything else before my own self, and carrying their burdens, as I mentioned yesterday. It's like going up a hill with a ton of bricks on your back, and it's heavy, a heavy load. And then somebody else is adding their bricks to your back. And eventually you're going to break your back down. And I learned how to throw those bricks off my back, give my burdens to God, and I don't take on anybody else's. And in the beginning, as I started to learn this through therapy and started to look at the pain, why I was doing certain things, etc., and so forth. When I started to set boundaries, man, people were getting angry and this and that, and it got to the point where, I was doing A, B, C, and D, and whatever to help you. People felt entitled to me, and made it almost seem like I was supposed to help them. I don't have to do anything for anybody but myself, And if I get a dog, for the dog, I don't have to do anything for anyone but me. And people had it twisted for far too long. But it's my fault too because I allowed it. Remember, people can't do what you don't allow and what you don't accept. And as I started to persevere, as I said, keep going and going, I start to see little results and more and more. And then I said, why was I entertaining all this stuff before? And I realized it wasn't for my highest good. And anything at this point that's not for my highest good gets cleared out of my life and energy. People are trying to come back and re enter, but they had so many chances over and over and over again, like a needle stuck on a broken record. And they refuse to change or refuse to respect. So when the boundaries were crossed, that was the bottom line. That was the end of it. And once I cut off, block, and delete, I don't open those doors anymore. That's why I do the negotiation situation. We need to have a communication of what's happening and how it's making me feel, etc., so forth. And here's why I'm on this journey. And I will talk about it and have those discussions. But after that, if it continues, then I cut off, block, and delete. There's no further conversation because that is the resolution at that point. Um, Self preservation means to me not allowing not allowing toxicity to attach itself to my life. Because sometimes when you're a generous, giving person, I am that, and I'm still that, but I'm not an over giver as I used to be. But I'm still concerned about people and generous and thoughtful, kind, and caring. And people think that's naive and weak. And there's nothing weak about me. I promise you guys, there's nothing weak about me. People may look at me and think that, and when I feel a certain kind of way, I go into prayer and stay in a prayer, meditation, and fasting for 3 days if necessary. I do whatever it is necessary to keep my peace. Um, Toxicity can attach itself to you when people think you're weak. They think they're going to come into your life and take something, do something. No. And what the people from the past are realizing, I'm not that same Lisa Vaughn that was scared and everything. I am that Samson with the Philistines. Now, if you know that story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not having it at this point in my life. I've worked too hard and I'm still working, hard because I have days of grief because of the past losses and I'm working through it. It's always going to be a void there because of the losses, but I work through it. And to this day, I still do therapy once a week, which is important. And I do things listening to music. Music heals the soul, people, and that helps me a lot as well. Prayer, music, and just doing things uplifting. While people are watching a lot of the news in the evening, because my father used to do that a lot, it used to irritate me. Dad, you watch the news at 5 o'clock. Do you have to see it at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whatever? This is, it's too much. And then he used to say to me, well, I probably missed something that happened in between 5 o'clock and 9 or 10 or whatever. And I'm like, that's too much because it's too much. Even back then, before I was doing the work, that's too much toxic stuff. And the news comes to my phone and I may glance at it for 2 minutes. In the gym, I have a headset on. So I see it on there because it's scrolling with whatever's going on at that particular moment. And okay, I make a note of it and I keep doing what I'm doing. But at night, when I come in and wind down, I don't want to see that stuff before I go to bed. Honestly, guys, what I do is cartoons is on, because I find that to be a medium point, you know, and not having all the toxicity and the craziness, because it's too much. And what's happening now, a lot of people are in a place of concern because we don't know what direction this economy and world is going in right now. It's a battle between the light and the dark right now. That's what I see going on. And like I said in my video yesterday, we have to put God back into the equation. Prayer. It doesn't mean, let me reiterate from yesterday, it doesn't mean that you have to be religious. You have to belong to this organization over here in order to have prayer. And even if you're a different culture, race, whatever, and you may pray differently, it doesn't matter. You're connecting to God. And as long as you're connecting and asking Him to help you, and it's coming from here sincerely, and you're in the upright, meaning you're not out there taking from people trying to do the most and the worst, God is going to hear your prayer. It's when we take Him off the table that He can't come and help us. And I hear a lot of conversations daily about what's happening in the world today, but I don't hear enough about prayer, and God. And one conversation I had last week with someone, and when I started mentioning like I'm doing here, she was quiet as a mouse. So I said, I don't know if she believes in God or not, but I know He's real because I know what He's done. And the miracles He created in my life, it couldn't come any other way but from Him. And it's not one specific, it's a, variety of things. So I watch less news at night and put on cartoons or a comedy show or something because I don't want to go to bed with that toxicity on my brain. Um, Allowing others to keep their own burdens, which was a hard one for me to learn, a hard lesson, because people will call you up, show up at your front door with burdens, toxicity, and then they drop that off at your door. Thanks for listening. They're gone. I used to have someone who used to unexpectedly show up at my house, and someone who I knew, but it wasn't okay with me. The way I handled it back then, I was scared and nervous about it. The least I am today, none of that is happening. I trust me, because if it happened one time, the person would know never to do that again, because I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to allow it, and it doesn't matter, whatever, because it's a form of disrespect. And I used to say, please stop doing this. And, she took it upon herself to keep doing it. And then I just stopped being friends with her. But the least I am today would handle it a little bit different, you know. But we grow, we learn, we grow. Um, what I what I do now is learn from these mistakes so I don't make the same ones. But any form of disrespecting my boundaries, I have no tolerance for it. What I end up doing is like letting people know this is not okay, and then that's it. Somebody was being disrespectful not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and I had to tell that person, hey, this is not okay. And they were like with their chest poked out, being arrogant. And so I cut off, block, and delete. I can see you and keep going, pretend you're not there, because that's how serious I am about healing. I don't play, and boundaries. I don't play about that. And when people say, oh, girl, and they don't have to necessarily verbalize that, their actions, their mannerism, and the way they're, shows it. And I just pretend like you're not there. You may be there, and I just keep it moving. I don't have time for that, guys. And I don't have to, some people act out of character and raise hell. What I don't do that. That's a form of toxicity. And if I start doing that, then all the work that I've done on myself is in vain, because now I'm engaging in a toxicity. And there was a situation that took place, and I just said, you know what? Okay, bye. And I just keep it moving. And sometimes, not a lot, you may have to do that to send a message that you're not going to tolerate toxicity. You're not inviting it in. So allowing other people to keep their burdens, because sometimes people come and drop their burdens on you, and keep it moving. I don't allow that. Um, if it's something that, to help somebody, to lift somebody up, that's a different story. But somebody coming with some gossip and toxicity, you guys know the difference. I don't entertain that. Recognizing toxicity and keeping it away in order to continue to heal, grow, and evolve is a priority to me. And, I recognize the toxicity, you know, when I see it now, whereas before I was making excuses for it. And I no longer do that, because if I make excuses for it, then it creeps right in. And all the work I'm doing is like now in vain. So people, take care of yourself. That's the key factor here. Self preservation, meaning that you are protecting your inner peace. Anyone come in and drop some toxicity or drama, because some people out here, they love drama. To me, that belongs on TV, not in my real life. And some people like to get stuff going and things. And I had people like that in my life. I had to cut that off, cut off, block, and delete, because it's not for my highest good. And when you recognize things that are not for your highest good, you do a checklist of pro and con. And if the cons outweigh the pros, set boundaries with these folks, because, and it's important to do something for yourself on a daily basis. No matter how busy my schedule is, I always try to take time out to do something for me so that I can. It's like taking a vacation. You work all year, whatever, and then you take the vacation. When you come back to work, you're rejuvenated now. So sometimes we need to do that when we're healing on a daily basis, to take care of ourselves. Give yourself time for yourself, no matter how busy you are, even if it's an hour, 2 hours, and do things that's going to uplift your spirit, not tear it down. Because there's a lot of that going on in this world today. I'm not telling people not to watch the news, not to know what's going on. I'm just saying you don't have to. I was given an example by using my father, because he was watching it like clock when he was here before he passed away, like clockwork. And I'm like, that's too much. I take things in small doses now. And, when you're healing and stuff, you don't want all of that on your table. So, yes, no, it's important that we know what's going on in this world today, but not to be glued to the set 24/7. I don't do that. I still live my life and embrace it. And more importantly, I trust God on all of these things. And find uplifting people in your life who will support you. And when I say support you, who will listen to you and be there, even though they can't change your circumstances or whatever, but they are there to listen and to uplift. I've closed doors to the past. And as I grow and heal and evolve, I open up new doors. People who really care about me, who really want to see me succeed, and not those who want to ride my coattail. Well, guys, that's the message today. Um, Self preservation. And please show up again tomorrow. I'll be back here tomorrow. And invite others, because every day is going to be a different topic, but it all ties into healing, your mental and physical health. Thank you for being here again, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. This is Lisa, always shedding love and light, and we'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Have a great Tuesday. Bye for now.